Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily.
Hi, everyone. We are very happy to see you here today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're talking about something that seems small, but it can completely change the way your English sounds. We're talking about conversation fillers.
And if you're thinking, wait, those little words people say when they're hesitating, then yes, that's what we're talking about. But there's a lot more to them than most learners realize.
There really is. I remember meeting an English learner a few years ago. His grammar was fantastic, his pronunciation was clear, he knew a lot of vocabulary, but every time he spoke, something felt a little unusual.
I know what you mean. Sometimes you can't immediately explain it, but you can hear it.
Right. He would answer questions in a very direct way.
Like how?
I'd ask, "Did you enjoy the movie?" And he'd say, "Yes, the movie was enjoyable."
Technically correct,
Completely correct.
but not how most people would naturally respond.
That's the thing. Native speakers often add small words and phrases that make conversations feel more relaxed. They create a rhythm.
They make you sound human,
That's a good way to put it.
because real conversations aren't perfectly organized. People think while they're talking. They change direction. They react emotionally.
Well, that's one of today's fillers right there.
It is.
And most native speakers don't even notice they're using it.
You know, when I was younger, I thought good speaking meant sounding polished every second. No pauses, no hesitation, no mistakes.
A lot of people think that.
Then I started recording myself during conversations.
Brave move.
It was painful.
I can imagine.
But I discovered something interesting. Even when I felt confident, I was constantly using fillers.
Really?
All the time. I'd say things like, "Well, I think that's true," or, "That's a difficult question."
And that's completely normal.
More than normal, it's natural.
One mistake many learners make is trying to remove every filler from their speech.
Because they think fillers are bad.
Yes, they think fluent speakers never hesitate.
But fluent speakers hesitate constantly.
They just do it naturally.
Actually, some of the most engaging speakers use fillers very effectively.
That's true.
Think about your favorite podcast host. Think about someone you enjoy listening to.
Chances are they don't sound like they're reading from a textbook.
Not at all.
They sound relaxed.
They sound comfortable.
They sound real.
And fillers help create that feeling.
Let me give an example. Imagine someone asks, "What's your favorite place you've ever visited?" A textbook answer might be, "My favorite place was Italy because the culture was interesting."
Nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. But a native speaker might say, "Well, that's a difficult one. I've visited several places, but I think Italy is probably my favorite."
The information is almost identical.
Yet it feels completely different.
It feels like a conversation instead of an exam.
That's such an important distinction.
Because conversations aren't only about information, they're also about connection.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, listeners, over the next episodes, we're going to explore these fillers one by one and show you how native speakers actually use them in everyday life.
And by the end, you'll start hearing them everywhere in podcasts, movies, interviews, and conversations with friends.
More importantly, you'll start feeling comfortable using them yourself.
Because sounding natural isn't about speaking perfectly, it's about speaking like a real person.
One thing I've noticed over the years is that people often have a very unrealistic idea of what fluent speakers sound like.
What do you mean?
I mean, they imagine someone who always knows what to say, someone who answers every question immediately without stopping to think.
Like a machine.
Pretty much.
The funny thing is, if you listen carefully to real conversations, that's not how people talk at all.
Not even close.
Sometimes you're asked something simple and your mind just goes blank.
That happened to me last week.
Really?
I met an old friend for coffee. We hadn't seen each other in years. Everything was going great, and then she suddenly asked, "What's been the happiest moment of your year so far?"
That's a surprisingly deep question.
It is, and I wasn't expecting it.
So what did you say?
Honestly, nothing for a second.
Just silence?
Complete silence. My brain started searching through dozens of memories at the same time.
That's when a filler becomes your best friend.
It really does. I could have simply said,
And everyone would understand that you're thinking.
That's what's so useful about it. You're not ending the conversation. You're keeping it alive while your brain catches up.
Now that I think about it, I probably use that filler every day.
Most people do.
Especially when someone asks an unexpected question.
Or a difficult one.
Speaking of difficult questions, let's talk about another filler.
That's a good question.
I love this one because it's positive.
Right. You're not saying, "I don't know."
You're saying, this deserves a moment of thought.
Years ago, I was interviewing for a position I really wanted.
The kind of interview where your heart is beating a little bit faster than normal?
A lot faster than normal.
I know that feeling.
Everything was going smoothly until the interviewer asked, "What would your former coworkers say about you?"
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Suddenly, I was trying to think of something honest, professional, and memorable, all at once.
That's a lot of pressure.
Looking back, I wish I had simply smiled and said, "That's a good question,"
It would have bought you a few valuable seconds.
and probably helped me relax.
That's something many learners don't realize. Fillers aren't only for language.
They're also for confidence.
Exactly. They give you space to breathe.
Another situation where people need that space is when they're meeting someone new.
Definitely.
Imagine you're at a party and someone asks, "So, tell me something interesting about yourself."
I always struggle with that question.
Me too.
There are thousands of things about me, and suddenly I can't think of a single one.
That's when a filler like, "Let me think," becomes incredibly useful.
It sounds natural because it's true.
You're letting the other person know you're considering your answer.
Let me think. I once spent 3 days learning how to juggle.
Is that true?
No.
I was impressed for a second.
See? That's why I shouldn't answer too quickly.
Maybe you need more thinking time.
Probably.
What's interesting is that these fillers appear in ordinary daily conversations too.
Not just interviews in formal situations.
Someone asks what you did over the weekend.
Let me think.
A friend asks which restaurant you'd recommend.
That's a good question.
Your family asks where you'd like to go on vacation.
Let me think.
These moments happen constantly,
And without fillers, people often feel pressured to fill the silence immediately,
which can make them nervous.
or cause them to rush into an answer they don't really mean.
The goal isn't to answer quickly.
The goal is to communicate comfortably,
That's such an important difference.
because conversations aren't competitions.
Nobody is timing your responses.
People are simply sharing ideas.
And sometimes the most natural thing you can do is pause, think, and let a small filler carry the conversation forward.
A simple, a thoughtful, let me think, or a friendly, that's a good question, can transform an awkward silence into a completely natural moment.
You know what else can make conversations feel awkward?
What's that?
When people treat every opinion like a fact.
Ah, that's a good point.
We've all met someone like that.
The person who says, this is the best movie ever made, and acts as if there's no room for discussion.
Right, and suddenly the conversation feels less friendly.
Because nobody likes being told that their opinion is wrong before they've even shared it.
That's where today's fillers become really useful.
They help soften what you're saying.
And they make conversations feel more open.
More inviting.
Let's start with one of my favorites.
That's one I use constantly.
Me too, and sometimes I don't even realize it.
What's interesting is that native speakers often use it when they're clarifying a thought.
Or when they're trying to sound less direct.
Give me an example.
Let's say we're talking about movies.
Dangerous topic. People get emotional about movies.
They really do. Suppose someone asks what you thought about a popular film.
Okay.
Instead of saying, "It was boring," you might say, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it felt a little slow to me.
That sounds much softer,
And less likely to start an argument.
which is always a bonus.
Have you ever had a movie opinion that shocked people?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's hear it.
There was a film everyone seemed to love a few years ago. Critics praised it, friends recommended it, social media couldn't stop talking about it.
And?
I didn't enjoy it.
Brave confession.
I know.
What didn't you like?
I mean, the acting was great, the cinematography was beautiful, but I just never connected with the story emotionally.
That's a perfect use of the filler.
Why?
Because you're not attacking the movie, you're experiencing your experience.
That's true.
Conversations usually go better when people speak from personal experience instead of declaring universal truths.
Which leads us nicely to another filler, in my opinion.
A very useful phrase.
It reminds people that what you're saying is your perspective.
Not an objective fact.
Exactly.
Travel is another area where this happens a lot.
Oh, definitely.
People ask, what's the best city you've ever visited?
And suddenly, everyone has a different answer.
I remember having a conversation with a friend who loved huge cities.
The busier, the better?
Pretty much. She loved crowds, energy, and constant activity.
Sounds exhausting.
See, that's your opinion.
Fair point.
Meanwhile, I prefer smaller places.
Quiet streets.
Quiet streets, local cafes, a slower pace.
So if someone asked your favorite travel destination,
I'd probably say, in my opinion, some of the smaller towns I've visited were more memorable than the famous tourist cities.
that sounds thoughtful.
Because I'm sharing a preference, not creating a rule.
And that's a big difference.
Speaking of preferences, let's talk about to be honest.
That's one that adds a little emotion.
It does.
It often signals that you're about to share something genuine.
Or maybe something slightly surprising.
Like what?
To be honest, when I was younger, I cared far too much about what people thought of me.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
That's hard to imagine.
I would spend hours worrying about tiny things.
What changed?
Life mostly, experience, a few embarrassing mistakes.
Those tend to teach valuable lessons.
They really do.
To be honest, I think most people spend too much time worrying about being judged.
I agree.
Then one day they realize everyone else is busy worrying about themselves.
That's strangely comforting.
It is.
What's fascinating is that these fillers don't just make English sound natural,
They also make conversations feel kinder,
less confrontational,
less rigid.
more human.
Because when you say, I mean, to be honest, or in my opinion, you're giving your ideas room to breathe instead of forcing them onto someone.
And sometimes giving your ideas room to breathe means admitting that you're not completely sure,
That's something many learners struggle with,
because they're taught to search for the correct answer.
when real life often doesn't have one.
Most conversations happen in that gray area between certainty and uncertainty.
That's true. Think about how many times someone asks a question and the honest answer is, I'm not totally sure.
Yet, native speakers rarely say those exact words every time.
Instead, they often use fillers like, I guess.
Such a small phrase, but it appears everywhere.
Let's say your friend asks, what time do you think Sarah will arrive?
You don't know for certain.
So you might say, I guess she'll be here around 7.
You're offering an answer without pretending it's a fact.
And people appreciate that honesty.
Actually, uncertainty can make you sound more trustworthy.
That's interesting.
Think about it. If someone sounds absolutely certain about everything, it can feel a little suspicious.
Like they're trying too hard to be right.
Exactly.
Whereas someone who admits uncertainty often sounds more genuine.
I learned that lesson the hard way.
That sounds like a story.
It is.
Go on.
Years ago, a friend asked me for directions to a restaurant in a city I had visited once.
Dangerous territory already.
I thought I remembered the location.
Uh-oh.
Instead of saying, I guess it's near the river, I confidently pointed her in a completely wrong direction.
How wrong was it?
About 30 minutes wrong.
That's impressively wrong.
She called me later and said, Are you secretly trying to get rid of me?
That's fair.
Since then, I've become much more comfortable saying, I guess, when I'm uncertain.
A wise decision.
Another filler native speakers use all the time is kind of.
I love this one because it's incredibly flexible.
It really is.
Imagine someone asks whether you enjoyed a restaurant.
Maybe the experience wasn't completely good or completely bad.
Right. You might say, I kind of liked it.
That's a very natural response.
You're expressing mixed feelings.
Which is how people often feel.
Life isn't always simple,
Neither are restaurants.
especially when one dish is amazing and another is disappointing.
Have you ever had that experience?
Absolutely. I once visited a restaurant everyone recommended.
High expectations.
Very high. The atmosphere was wonderful.
Good start.
The service was excellent.
Even better.
The food,
Don't tell me.
I kind of liked it.
That's never a great sign.
It wasn't terrible.
But it wasn't memorable.
That's probably the best description.
See how useful kind of is?
It captures that middle ground perfectly.
Which brings us to another common filler, sort of.
A close cousin of kind of.
Native speakers often use them interchangeably.
Let's say someone asks for a recommendation,
Maybe they're choosing a vacation destination.
and you've only spent a short time there.
You might say, it's sort of a quiet beach town.
Or, it's sort of expensive, but the scenery is beautiful.
You're giving an impression rather than making an absolute statement.
That's something recommendations often require.
Because experiences vary from person to person.
The hotel you loved might not be someone else's favorite.
The restaurant you enjoyed might not impress everyone.
The city that changed your life might leave another person completely unimpressed.
That's what makes conversations interesting.
Everyone brings a different perspective,
And these fillers help us express those perspectives honestly,
without sounding overly certain.
without pretending we know everything.
Which, if we're being realistic, none of us do.
Not even close.
So whether you're making plans, choosing a restaurant, or recommending a place to visit, phrases like I guess, kind of, and sort of help your English sound more natural because they reflect something very human.
What's that?
The simple fact that sometimes we're still figuring things out while we're talking.
The simple fact that sometimes we're still figuring things out while we're talking. And that's actually what makes conversations interesting.
Imagine how strange it would be if every conversation stayed on one topic forever.
We'd probably run out of things to say pretty quickly.
Or we'd start looking for an escape.
Which reminds me of a dinner I attended a few years ago.
That sounds promising.
Trust me, it was unforgettable.
Good unforgettable or bad unforgettable?
A little of both.
Those usually make the best stories.
I was sitting next to a guy who spent nearly 40 minutes talking about lawn care.
40 minutes?
40 very long minutes.
That's impressive dedication.
He knew everything about grass.
More than anyone should.
Different types of grass, different watering schedules, different fertilizers.
I can see the excitement on your face,
The worst part was that he was genuinely passionate.
which made it harder to interrupt him.
Exactly. I kept waiting for the conversation to naturally move somewhere else.
Did it?
Not until someone finally said, Anyway, has anyone planned a vacation this year?
A heroic moment.
It saved the entire table.
That's one reason anyway is such a useful filler.
It helps redirect conversations without sounding rude.
You're acknowledging what came before, but you're gently steering things in a new direction,
Native speakers do this constantly,
especially when conversations start wandering.
which happens more than people think. My family gatherings are a perfect example.
How so?
Someone starts talking about a movie.
Normal enough.
10 minutes later, we're discussing traffic.
That's a jump.
5 minutes after that, we're debating whether cats secretly judge humans.
They absolutely do.
See? That's how these conversations happen.
And transitions help people follow along.
Another one I hear all the time is by the way,
That's a favorite of mine.
because it introduces something new without feeling random.
although sometimes what follows is completely random.
That's true.
Last weekend, I was talking to a friend about exercise routines.
Healthy conversation.
Very healthy.
Then what happened?
He suddenly said, "By the way, I accidentally locked myself out of my apartment yesterday."
That's quite a turn.
The conversation immediately became more interesting.
Did he get back inside?
Eventually,
Sounds like there's a story there.
there is. He climbed onto a balcony.
No.
Yes.
That's a terrible idea.
He realized that halfway through the climb.
At least he realized it.
The point is that, by the way, prepared everyone for a new topic.
It creates a bridge.
A very useful bridge.
Speaking of bridges,
Nicely done.
thank you.
That's our next filler.
Speaking of,
One of the smoothest transitions in English,
because it connects a new topic to the previous one.
even if the connection is small.
Let's try it.
Go ahead.
We were talking about balconies.
Right?
Speaking of balconies, have you ever stayed in a hotel with an incredible view?
See how natural that feels?
The topic changes, but listeners can still follow the path.
That's what native speakers do all the time.
They build little conversational roads.
I like that description.
One idea leads to another.
One memory triggers another memory.
One story creates the next story.
Speaking of stories, what are your plans this weekend?
I'm hoping for something quiet.
That's unusual.
I know.
What's on the agenda?
Reading, coffee, maybe a long walk if the weather cooperates.
That sounds peaceful.
What about you?
I promised a friend I'd help him move.
That's not peaceful.
Not even slightly.
Lots of heavy boxes?
Lots of heavy boxes and probably several moments where we question our life choices.
Well, by the way, if he owns a piano, you should suddenly become unavailable.
That's excellent advice.
Anyway, the important thing for our listeners is that these fillers help conversations flow naturally.
They allow topics to change without feeling abrupt.
They help stories connect.
They help people stay engaged.
And perhaps most importantly, they make conversations feel effortless.
Because great conversations rarely move in straight lines. They wander, connect, and evolve naturally from one idea to the next.
Because great conversations rarely move in straight lines. They wander, connect, and evolve naturally from one idea to the next.
And sometimes the best conversations come from unexpected stories.
Especially the stories nobody saw coming.
The kind that make everyone at the table stop eating and say, "Wait, what happened?"
Those are my favorite.
Mine too. And interestingly, native speakers often use certain fillers to make those stories more engaging.
Almost like they're pulling the listener closer.
That's a great way to describe it.
Let's start with believe it or not.
That's a phrase that immediately creates curiosity.
The moment someone says it, I want to hear what comes next.
Same here.
Because you're basically being told that something surprising is about to happen.
Speaking of surprising things, believe it or not, I once missed a flight while sitting at the gate.
No, you didn't.
I absolutely did.
That's almost impressive.
Thank you, I think.
How does someone miss a flight while sitting at the gate?
That's the embarrassing part.
Go on.
I was traveling alone, everything was on schedule, I found my gate early.
So far, so good?
Then I started reading a book.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Did you lose track of time?
Worse.
How is that worse?
I was sitting at the wrong gate.
You're kidding.
Not at all.
What happened when you realized?
I looked up and noticed everyone around me had disappeared.
That's never a good sign.
Then I checked my boarding pass.
Oh no.
My flight was leaving from the gate next door.
Next door?
Next door.
That somehow makes the story funnier.
It wasn't funny at the time,
I imagine not.
but now it's one of my favorite travel stories.
You see, that's another useful filler right there.
It is.
Native speakers often use you see when they're explaining something or helping a listener understand a situation.
It's like saying, here's the important detail.
Exactly.
In my flight story, I could say, you see, I was so focused on my book that I never checked the gate number again.
Suddenly, the listener understands what went wrong.
It creates context.
And context makes stories better.
It definitely does.
I had a workplace misunderstanding once that still makes me laugh.
Those are always entertaining years later.
Never in the moment.
That's true.
I had recently started a new job.
New jobs are full of opportunities for misunderstandings.
One morning, my manager sent me a message that said, "Can we talk when you have a minute?"
That's one of the most frightening messages in professional life.
My heart immediately dropped.
Mine would too.
For the next hour, I was convinced I had done something wrong.
Catastrophic thinking.
Completely.
Then what happened?
As a matter of fact, she wanted to compliment my work.
That's the opposite of what you expected.
Exactly.
And that's why, as a matter of fact, is such a useful filler.
Because it often introduces information that surprises people.
Or corrects an assumption.
Right. If someone says, "You probably hated your first week at that job,"
You could respond, as a matter of fact, I loved it,
it creates a nice moment of contrast.
which makes conversations more engaging.
The truth is, people don't remember stories because they're perfect.
They remember stories because they're relatable,
Because something unexpected happened.
because there was confusion, surprise, excitement, or relief.
And fillers like "you see," "believe it or not," and "as a matter of fact" help bring those emotions to life.
They don't just deliver information, they help listeners experience the story along with you.
They don't just deliver information, they help listeners experience the story along with you.
And when you start combining these fillers naturally, conversations become much more realistic.
That's true because people rarely use only one filler at a time.
Real conversations are messier than that,
In a good way.
in a very human way.
Let me ask you something. If you could wake up tomorrow with one completely new skill, what would it be?
That's a good question.
Listen to that. You already used two fillers without even thinking about it.
See, that's what happens in real conversations.
So, what's your answer?
Well, let me think. I guess I'd choose the ability to speak every language in the world.
That's a great answer.
Is it?
Absolutely.
You know, I've always loved the idea of traveling somewhere unfamiliar and instantly being able to connect with people.
I feel the same way.
Language opens doors.
Not just practical doors.
Emotional doors, too.
I remember visiting a small town years ago where almost nobody spoke my language.
How did that go?
Surprisingly well. People were incredibly kind.
That's often the case.
The thing is, even when vocabulary is limited, people find ways to communicate.
Smiles help.
Smiles help a lot.
As a matter of fact, some of my favorite travel memories involve conversations that were far from perfect.
Really?
Oh, definitely.
Tell me one.
Well, I was trying to order lunch in another country. I thought I was asking for a chicken sandwich.
Let me guess, you weren't.
Not even close.
What arrived?
A plate containing something I still can't identify.
That's concerning.
Believe it or not, it was delicious.
The mystery improved the flavor.
I think so.
Speaking of food, are you adventurous when it comes to trying new dishes?
Sort of.
That's not a very confident answer.
I know. The truth is, I'm brave until the food arrives.
Then what happens?
Then I start asking questions.
Lots of questions?
Far too many.
I kind of understand that.
See? That's another natural combination.
It really is.
People mix these expressions constantly.
Which is why learners shouldn't memorize them as isolated pieces.
They should hear them in conversations.
Just like this one.
Speaking of conversations, have you noticed how some people can talk to absolutely anyone?
Yes, and I've always admired that skill.
Me too.
In my opinion, those people aren't necessarily more interesting than everyone else.
I agree.
They're just more curious.
That's a great observation.
They ask questions.
They listen carefully.
They genuinely want to know what other people think.
You know, that reminds me of something my grandfather used to say.
What was it?
He said, "People love good storytellers, but they trust good listeners."
That's beautiful.
It stayed with me for years.
To be honest, I think that's one of the reasons meaningful conversations are becoming more valuable.
Because attention is becoming rarer.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to be heard.
Fewer people want to listen.
And yet listening is what creates connection.
It really does.
By the way, if you had the chance to spend 1 year anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Let me think.
Big decision.
Very big decision.
Don't spend 6 months choosing.
No promises.
Fair enough.
Well, I guess I'd choose somewhere near the ocean.
Why the ocean?
You see, water has always helped me think.
I understand that.
When life feels noisy, the ocean somehow makes everything feel simpler.
That's a lovely answer.
What about you?
Believe it or not, I'd probably choose the mountains.
Really?
Absolutely.
That's interesting because we're choosing opposite environments.
Maybe.
Or maybe we're choosing the same feeling.
What do you mean?
Peace.
Huh.
Different places, same goal.
That's actually very true.
The older I get, the more I appreciate simple things.
Such as?
Good conversations, quiet mornings, time with people I care about.
I feel exactly the same way.
Careful.
What?
That's one of the few moments in life where two people completely agree.
We should celebrate.
Maybe with coffee.
Always with coffee.
You know, when we started today's conversation, we were talking about small filler words.
Tiny expressions that many people overlook.
Yet they do something important.
They create rhythm.
They create personality.
They create connection.
And perhaps most importantly, they remind us that conversations aren't performances.
They're shared experiences.
Moments where people think, hesitate, laugh, remember, wonder, and occasionally tell stories about missing flights while sitting right beside the gate.
That's still one of my favorite stories.
Unfortunately, it's a true story.
Which somehow makes it even better.
Well, that's life. Imperfect, unpredictable, and usually a lot more interesting than we expect.